Yeah, so everybody except for Levi and me tried it. I just put it up to my lips right after Jude was saying that it was the most bitter thing he'd ever tasted. And then I was like, you know what? And I put it on my lips and I was like, I don't really taste anything. I kind of licked it and I was like, I don't think I'm going to risk it.
All right, so roll the intro.
Evening, officer. Is something wrong?
Just keep your hands where I can see them. Routine traffic stop. We got reports of someone driving under the influence. You know anything about that?
No, I'm only under one influence.
What's that?
The influence of Jesus.
It's time for Under the Influence.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
Hello again, everybody. Jerry with Christian Influence here. I'm so glad to be with you for another episode. Thank you so much for your continued support. Because of you, the show has now reached over 1,000 downloads. It's so crazy to us, and we can't believe we're already this many episodes in. It's insane. We continue to love it, and we look forward to recording it every week, and I hope you look forward to listening. This week, Levi, Jude, and I have a ton of fun joking around and telling some fun stories, but by the end of the show, we do discuss private schooling, primarily Christian private schooling, and how important we believe that that is. There are most certainly points to this discussion that we don't touch on, and if anything, we mostly just discuss how influential Christian schooling was to us in our teenage years and the negative effects we have seen public schooling have on some of our siblings. But I hope you understand our purpose in this discussion is in no way to condemn children or parents of children attending public schools. We're certainly aware this is the overwhelming majority of people's reality. Instead, it is to just speak praises to the benefits of private Christian schooling and, if nothing else, to thank those responsible for our education growing up. Our parents, faculty, teachers, and financial benefactors, we are sincerely grateful for the privilege it was for us to be given an education rooted in the Word of God and taught by people who encouraged us first and foremost to serve Him. Proverbs 22:6 says this, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." Parents, your child's training and teaching does not end when they leave school. Be well studied and capable of teaching your children what is right and what is important. And children, the same goes to you. Be earnest and inquisitive, whether publicly or privately schooled. Ask questions of the Bible and seek truth daily. Read your Bible and seek understanding, especially if you are not getting that at school. Just as Proverbs 18:15 says, "An intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge." Seek knowledge and wisdom. All right, I'm done for now, so thank you again for listening. Do enjoy episode 17 of Under the Influence.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm trying to jump scare the audience of another episode.
But they expect it now.
I have to redo everything now.
No, we don't.
Welcome back to another episode.
Only I have that power.
Stop cutting me off! Under the Influence. I'm your host, Jude Crane, joined by your favorite co-hosts.
The one with the true power.
Levi Thiessen.
Wait, that's right. No, what have I done? Oh! We fired Jerry.
Yeah, I've just been hanging around. Right now I'm sitting in the corner of the room and partially down the stairs and they can't see me, but I'm still holding the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're pulling on the cord. The microphone's get away from my hand. Stop. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I'm here too. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Can you believe that we're 17 episodes into this madness?
Wow.
That's
7 more and the season's over.
almost as old as...
Oh, did I just spoil it?
I am.
7 more episodes
Wow.
and season
18.
1 ends.
Our show is about to be an adult.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
in
18?
episodes.
In 1 week.
In 1 week, our show can endorse a president for the 2024 election.
Yeah, everybody knows you're an adult when you're 18 weeks old.
And we're going to be endorsing
Jude?
Mr. Potato Head.
Jude for president.
I would
2024.
never endorse that megalomaniac.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a psychopath.
No, I think it goes without saying that I'm endorsing Kamala Harris for president 2024. I have a picture of her right here, and that's the truth.
He
He actually does.
I
have
actually
a
have
do.
a little headshot.
I
of
keep it on me.
Harris.
as a sign
It gives
of
some
good luck.
good lucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
but not
bit of a
really.
lucky charm.
It's like cut out of a magazine or something.
Yeah, and it's got her name spelled with different letters cut out of the magazine. My hero.
Oh, my hero.
The lock of her hair.
Yeah, you put her on like a little altar in your closet with
There's
candles,
candles.
and rose
It's
petals.
I have one of
taped
those.
onto a little effigy of.
Oh, there's a candle of the saint, and I got a little Kamala's face.
Well, you should get one of the. No, that might be a little sad.
I'm not going to get one of those.
Well, you have one that has Nicolas Cage's
Well, I have one with an actual saint on it.
Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
Saint Nicholas Cage.
Saint Nick Cage.
Yeah, I love that. Every time I open the door to your little room hut building thing,
Yes.
it's staring at me.
Call it what it
Especially
is.
because when I open it and you're in there, you have your little chain lock.
Yes.
But all I can see through that crack
It's Nicholas Cage.
Nicholas'
is little
smiling face.
Saint Nicholas. Yeah, smiling, just wishing he was on fire and scenting up the room. What does it smell? What is that? Wait, are those candles scented? Those Catholic candles?
I don't
I mean,
think
what are they called?
So,
They are.
What are they called? Prayer candles?
I don't know. I'm not Catholic.
yeah.
I think I might have just. Yeah, I just call them Catholic candles.
You just attacked the entire Catholic
No, I
community.
just called them Catholic candles. Is that insensitive?
Wow.
Isn't it a primarily Catholic thing?
Yeah, is it wrong to call them Catholic candles?
Mine smells like vanilla.
Mine smells like Catholics,
Yeah.
which is great.
Probably. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of incense burning in
oak.
the church.
I ordered mine from Goop.
Nope. All right.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, not a good idea. Have you seen that Uber Eats commercial?
Does she have an Uber Eats? Oh, you
Yeah.
can't eat everything you get from Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where they? Yeah.
Yeah.
eat
and they're
her.
eating Scotch tape.
Oh.
Yeah.
She gets delivered by Uber Eats, and all these guys are just like, cutting her to pieces. Yikes.
I stopped. Like I didn't progress the bit any further, but you just blindly walked forward. And
Yeah. Roasting her over a fire.
good night. You guys seen any
All
good
right.
movies lately? I watched a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow in it.
What was that?
Iron Man.
Didn't you just rewatch Infinity War and Endgame, though?
Yeah.
So you watched
How was that?
Iron Man.
I think they might be.
You watched the beginning and the end?
Yeah. Nice.
wasn't a
Some
thing,
of the
but-
greatest movies ever made.
Oh, yeah. Jude has this thing. He was telling me the other day that he does
Well, don't
earnestly
talk about
believe.
that on air, but
What? It's not. Shut up. It's he does believe that Infinity War and Endgame are two of the greatest movies of all time. Meaning
they
they're
are
timeless, right?
amongst the greatest movies of all time.
Did I say they're not the greatest? I said they are some of the greatest.
No, you
right?
said Jude thinks they are the only two movies ever made that are worth ever going to see.
That is what I said. My bad. Do you agree with that statement?
No.
Why not?
Wait, how many greatest movies of all time are there then? Like 500?
A lot. My goodness.
Okay, well then it's easy to say yes to that, I think. If there's like
I mean, is it one of like the most impactful movies of all time? Like,
Well, I would
shouldn't that go
actually
to
say-
weighting the score in its favor as being one of the greatest? Why can't that be what makes it part of being the greatest? Like one of the most influential, impactful movies of all
well,
time.
being influential doesn't mean that it's like
Alone.
But it
Well,
was influential in a good way. It's safe to say being influential in a bad way doesn't mean that. But it was influential in a good way, culturally and
I think if a movie puts on something cinematically that no one has done or experienced really on this scale, you can't
it will never be experienced in
Not-
that way again.
consider that in ranking the movie, not on its writing, not on its editing,
Yeah,
but just on its status amongst some of the greater
yeah,
movies.
it's gonna be one of the like most remembered movies.
Yeah, it was a cinematic event that's like never been,
Yeah,
I think, done.
and it's gonna be really difficult
it-
to try and pull it off again.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you'd have to do something different, so you wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
Because, like, to do the same thing, I don't see that happening again. But I guess it could, but it wouldn't be the same. I mean, it would be the same, which would make it not the same. Because part of what made it so interesting was that it had never been done before. And it was so cool. Tim and I talk about that often, or at least we have, about, man, to go back to the first time you watched that movie in the theater, like with some of those really cool scenes at the very end of Endgame, and just like everybody's freaking out. Like movies had never been like that to me. where you're like sitting there in a theater and you're like, whoa, you know, everybody's clapping. And also now they're not worth doing that over.
Not really.
Not those movies, at least.
Something
There were some moments in Top Gun where people are like, whoa, you know, like
I've
they
yet
were
to
cool.
see that.
You haven't seen Top Gun Maverick?
No.
It was very
Go with
good.
us. You were like, that sounds dumb. And then we all came back.
No, I
and were
literally just said I didn't care about seeing it in theaters.
Yeah, you're like,
and
that
it
sounds
sounded
stupid. It
stupid.
doesn't
It's
sound
probably a
interesting.
terrible movie, and I can't stand Tom Cruise. And
yeah, but it
started
was
crying.
probably one of the best movies I've seen.
One
in
of
a
the
long
things
time.
I didn't think I would remember enjoying so fondly was when all the portals open up and you see like every hero.
You didn't think that you would?
No, I just
when I
never
was watching
remembered
that,
it.
I was literally thinking like, this is one of the coolest things
It
I've ever
just
seen.
it felt kind of lackluster because one thing, a big gripe I have about that scene is I don't think like this. I think the set could have been more exciting. It's very bland. When you
Yeah.
look at a lot of the images, it's just
I mean, it's just
kind of pukey brown.
It's just wreckage.
across the board. And the heroes don't stand, most of the heroes, except for the primary ones, don't really stand out. And I know, you know, there's a reason,
Yeah,
but you
I think
could have
that's
made it
intentional.
more so that kind of everywhere you looked, there's a unique thing kind of happening.
I disagree with that. I think everywhere you look, there is
A
unique.
unique thing happening, but it doesn't catch your eye because it's so bland in the background, the colors. But when the
disagree.
portals open up, you can disagree. It's fine to be wrong about things. But when the portals open up and Captain America grabs the hammer, and then what? So are we worried about spoiling?
Hey, massive spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually haven't seen these movies, well, but if you haven't seen these movies, then I guess don't listen to this part.
I mean, if you haven't seen these movies, you probably don't care about it.
yeah, that's true. I think anybody that would care has seen that one.
Everyone's coming out of the portal.
But yeah, when what we were
Neutron's
talking about
dad.
the other day was when he says, which did you know when he says the line "Avengers Assemble"? That's the first and only time in any of the movies that he says that, you know, titular
MCU
line,
movies.
like that crazy. That's the most popular like line for the Avengers.
Did it not get said in like the
Not in the
original?
MCU? No,
No, never. That's
Well-
the first and only time.
not in the MCU.
Well, not in the. Yeah, that's what we're talking about in the movies.
When Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I
He
forgot
says,
it's Spider-Man
Avengers
1.
assemble.
Green
then
Goblin
punches Doc
goes,
Ock.
Avengers
Yeah.
assemble.
Little known.
Peter.
Peter.
Right after he gets skewered.
Yeah.
Don't tell Harry. Avengers assemble. Go.
Avengers assemble.
But no, that's the first and only time. And so that's what makes it crazy that he chose to do it so like quiet. He goes, Avengers. He just says the word.
Yeah.
Basically to himself. And then everybody's like,
Ishimbi.
Yeah.
yeah. And then they scream and run forward. And then like
It's a
Jude
very
said the other
guttural
day,
scream from Chris
Thor
Hemsworth.
screams so
Yeah.
hard that every vein in his entire body bursts,
It's very cool.
dies
Yeah.
of blood loss. Yeah.
Then you got to give him football until the best scene in the entire movie.
What?
Thanos, Power Stone, hitting Captain
Captain-
America out of
no.
the movie.
Captain Marvel, right?
Captain Marvel out of the movie entirely.
Yeah. Well, she shows up once or twice later, but not to do anything.
Yeah.
Why is that your favorite scene?
Oh. Just
Go
a
ahead and
little
elaborate.
catharsis.
Catharsis for what?
Oh,
You didn't like her movie?
Well, he lives vicariously through Thanos in that moment.
yeah.
Dude,
No,
okay. But Captain Marvel, not that bad now that we have the most recent ones.
I mean,
Like,
That's
seriously?
right. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well,
She's
no,
so bad. Huge thumbs down for
have
me.
you seen a picture of the collection of all of the what the Avengers are now in Phase 4?
Oh, like who's left?
It just looks like if you bought the Avengers off of Wish.
Oh, really?
That's literally what it looks like.
Why is that? Why do you
What?
hate women, Levi?
I don't hate women.
no, but if you're gonna
They
write,
just don't know how to write
yeah,
have
if you're gonna write a
women.
a female character, you need to
Yeah.
write them
I liked
well,
Wanda.
just like you need to write a male.
Up
character.
until the most recent MCU installment, I liked Wanda's character.
Yeah.
I thought she was really
Yeah.
fun.
That's one that you shouldn't say spoilers for. It's come out recently enough that if people care,
I love
Strange and
Wanda.
the Multiverse of Madness.
yeah.
Wanda's in it.
Well, everybody knows that, but I'm just saying.
She kills Doctor Strange.
Wow.
It's only the end of the movie.
No, I agree. I thought she was a really cool character for a very long time, but I did not love her character in her more recent adaptations. But
You didn't plug the Discord this episode.
Okay,
Isn't
well,
it?
I mean, usually we get around to it at some point in the episode, or if not, I say it in our opening monologue.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's usually an opening thing.
dum-dum.
I didn't know
no,
what to
there's been a
do.
couple episodes. The last 2 episodes, you've said this.
That's
There's
why I
been a
said
couple-
usually. It's usually an opening.
But I don't
thing.
think we need to. I don't need to bombard our audience. If
Throws
there's
everything
17
off,
episodes in, and they haven't heard me say that they can go to christianinfluence.net and click the Discord button, join our Discord where we have, all these discussions about the show and play games together and all that stuff, then they don't need to hear me say it again because they already know it.
I'll take that as a plug. It was never for the audience.
Well, I'm gonna cut that out.
It was for you.
It's for me. I can't
doesn't
continue
know.
without it. I keep
Yeah.
forgetting with my short-term memory that we have a Discord.
Yeah.
So this
And
podcast
even
is the only way.
just as important as our Discord, they don't need to hear me talk about our Patreon.
We have a Patreon.
Yeah, but again, I've talked about it ad nauseum. They don't need to hear me say again that if they go to patreon.com/ChristianInfluence, they can help sponsor the show and support us so that we can continue to do this. And if they do, they get
goodness.
access to other episodes and bonus entries into our Discord giveaway.
Forgot we had it. It's probably crazy expensive though, right?
No, it's either $3 just to support or $5 for all that extra content.
That's incredibly valuable. It's a good thing you remembered to tell me.
Yeah. I mean, Jude didn't want the extra content or the bonus giveaways because Jude's helped support it, but he's our only $3 supporter.
It was the first button I saw.
Yeah, because you're lazy.
And he hasn't gone back to change it.
There's so much work. I don't have the app. I'd have to go to the website.
we don't have to support it. But if we're going to put our money where our mouth is,
My money is where my mouth is, just not all of it.
Yeah, you eat it all.
just not $2 of it.
I eat all my money.
Yeah. No, we usually post twice a month some extra bonus content there.
Oh,
The most recent episodes have had a special guest, and we've talked about things like The Princess Bride. We talked about The Chosen. We've talked about Jaden Smith.
Cirque du Soleil.
A few other things. But I believe this week a new one will be coming out.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Nope.
Yes. It will have Sir Ian McKellen.
That would be cool.
That's the guest.
That would be cool.
As the guest.
Who plays Magneto?
Sir Ian McKellen.
That's Ian McKellen?
Yeah.
I was thinking of Patrick Stewart.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ian McKellen will come on our podcast.
Probably
Well,
not.
he likes to. I think he. No. I'm thinking of somebody else.
No, he's
I don't know
he
if this
doesn't
is
like
the
very
platform.
anti-Christian.
Yeah.
He rips parts of the Bible out of every
That's
single
right.
Gideon
Yes.
Bible.
He's the
in
one
all
that
of his
goes and rips.
hotels.
What is it, Leviticus?
Yeah,
And
the
he always rips
entire
it out at
book
hotels.
of Leviticus out
Because
of
he
the
hates
book.
Levi.
Because he hates me in particular. Me
Yeah.
and my household.
Do you think
Our
after-
grandfather did something similar, except not to the Bible.
Is this
Yeah.
true?
Well, the guy in the chair can choose to remove this if he wants to. I don't think it's dangerous to ostracize these people, but our grandfather, jokingly, after hearing about that, about Sir Ian McKellen, went to a hotel and where they have a Holy Bible and a Book of Mormon next to it, he put the Book of Mormon in the trash.
I'm not opposed to it.
Well, I think we should at least be not hateful. But
That's
I don't
not
think
hateful.
it was a funny joke because someone was recording him and he's like, "What is this?" And then he threw it in the trash and he picked it back up, I think, and put it back. But
Actors like Ian McKellen, who are getting on in years, who've played pretty big cinematic roles. I mean, for at least 3 movies. And then somewhere in the weird X-Men cinematic universe, he played Magneto again. I don't remember how it all works out. Do you think as he gets older and slowly drifts into senility, he ever will start to wake up maybe one morning and go,
dude, I think
I'm Magneto today?
I think about this all the time, but about Sam Jackson. He's played hundreds of roles.
And
some of
but
them
he's so like sober-minded. For an old guy, for a guy his age, I should say.
For what?
He's
so
like
what?
incredibly
Yeah.
there, present. Mentally.
Jackson?
Yeah,
Are you saying that Ian McKellen's not incredibly there?
I'm not saying.
Well,
that.
I mean, I don't care if you do. Is there evidence to say that he's kind of going
I know
senile?
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick
is
Stewart,
kinda-
most
Stewart.
definitely.
Stewart. Yeah.
Patrick Stewart.
Stewart.
Yeah, I am Picard today. Where's my ship? I'm stranded on some
Why
strange
am I
world.
on? What do they call it? Terran? No, it's Earth.
No, it's Earth.
Earth, yeah.
Sort of, yeah. But he's like, these people haven't discovered warp drives, so I can't communicate with them.
I'm on a version of Earth where they haven't discovered, so I have to follow the Prime Directive.
I cannot interfere with them. So he's locked himself in his room, and they're like, "Dad, come out."
Well, I don't think he
thinks
has
that-
children that young.
Or he thinks
That's
that he's
true.
Xavier and
Yeah,
Yeah, somebody's bothering him, and he's like, "Man, I know what you're thinking."
just a really nice waitress, and he grabs her hand, and he's like, "You are a mutant. I can see that
Rowan
you're
Atkinson?
different. Rowan Atkinson?
Oh, a guy in the chair just posted a picture of Rowan Atkinson in response to what we're talking about. So you're saying, do you think that Rowan Atkinson wakes up and thinks he's Mr. Bean? Is that true? Does he?
That'd be very unfortunate.
That'd be very unfortunate because he would be like very
mute.
well, that and making unfortunately funny faces at women and putting himself in really dangerous situations that he, or compromising situations.
Destroy his entire life by chasing a bee in his latest.
Did you watch that?
I watched like part of the first episode and then it got so cringy.
Is it that bad?
Wait, is
It
there
looked a
new
little
Mr.
silly.
Bean content?
No, it's not Mr. Bean. It's called Man vs. Bee.
Yeah, it's man versus bee. It starts off, he's in a courtroom and they're like, well, you've been found guilty of breaking all of these laws and like burning down a building with a flamethrower. And he just
It's like the end.
do you have anything to say in your closing statement? And he's just like, well, he looks over at his family. There was this bee, you see? And then it back in time and to when he first started it all.
Is it a movie?
It's
a
a series.
like 5-part show.
So they made a 5-part series about...
It's like a man whose life is tormented by this bee.
He lets a bee into the house that he's house sitting for, and from then on, it just destroys his entire life in normal Mr. Bean fashion.
Good gravy.
But yeah,
But he's not Mr. Bean. He's just a guy.
yeah, but he's basically Mr. Bean.
Well, because Rowan Atkinson basically always is Mr. Bean.
yeah.
Even when he's playing, what's his other one? Johnny English or something?
I totally forgot.
Even
that
in that,
he
he's
existed.
basically Mr. Bean if Mr. Bean spoke.
Could speak and was
in
extremely
every
suave.
role other than Mr. Bean, he's just Mr. Bean with words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a little bit more cognitive function.
Which is kind of unfortunate for
It'd be funny
him
if it wasn't
in general.
That he's typecast?
That he's like been so typecast, because you know how that all started.
Usually those
He was
things
going to,
he
like-
makes, though.
Yeah, but he went to engineering school and they did like a little skit about Mr. Bean and they recorded it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then it all went on from there. And
think
he
he
just
enjoys his
became
Because
Mr.
I know a
Bean.
lot of the movies that he plays that type of thing, he's usually like producing.
Wasn't
But has he
Blackadder
tried to
before
like do...
Mr. Bean?
'Cause
I don't know if he tried to do other things. I just know
Yeah.
that that's like that's
He very
who
well
he
could be
is.
typecast. Usually the really unfortunate examples of people that are totally typecast are the ones that play something that they are so known for and it's so amazing, this type of role, and then they try and do other things and all those other things fail until they do that sort of thing again. Kind of like Ray and Wilson, like with Dwight, playing Dwight Schrute. But then an example of someone that hasn't had that happen is like John Krasinski, where he's been able to do other things and play like a super cool military guy or whatever. In like 13 Hours and then Quiet Place and all that. But Ray and Wilson has been, he did The Last Mimsy,
That's
which was
true.
an absolute blockbuster.
Great movie.
If you were in the Crane household.
From the
We've watched
trailers,
that movie way
Man
too
vs.
many
Bee seems like a lot of physical comedy. But it'd be funny if it, like the bee was searching up things that got pinged by the FBI, like on the internet. It's just
How
riveting.
to make a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, how's the week been going, guys? What's been going on? We all went and did something.
It's been, yes, we did.
We did.
We went to the Maine coastline.
We went all the way to Maine, other side of the U.S.
Now, there's a coastline within about 3 hours of us, but we chose to drive to... There's a coastline in Maine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it.
That's what I thought. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's an island.
There's a Portland in Maine, too. I'm pretty sure it was first.
I mean, there's a Portland in like basically every single state that
That's
isn't
not true.
landlocked.
Take it back.
But isn't Maine... Is Portland their capital?
I don't
I
think so.
doubt it.
No? Okay.
Who would want Portland as their capital?
Well, it's different Portland.
What?
No, Portland, Oregon is the capital of Maine. You have to...
We went to the beach.
Actually, if we did that, we could like switch up how
Oh.
the voting is.
Yeah, we could.
That would be great.
I don't think it would be any better for us.
Oh, because if we got their Portland,
Yeah, if we got their capital.
Oh no!
they just
We're
take ours.
They're just
Oh.
taking our.
we don't.
Portland
I don't
area.
want anything back.
Oh,
Just
still have Eugene.
take ours.
We still have to outdo Eugene, but I think we might. Be
I think
able
we
to.
can.
All
We
those-
just can't handle both of them.
red-blooded Republicans in Eugene, we got to take care of.
Yeah, we could cookie cutter Portland. I'm not just talking politically. I just don't like Portland.
I like the city.
There are certain parts of it.
Nah, dude. Let's cookie cutter it out and put it in the middle of Maine. They can have two Portlands.
Like, Avengers 2, we drop a city-sized
Like Sokovia.
Yeah.
We will lift it up into the air.
And then just drop it on the East Coast.
No, we don't have to drop it. We
Whatever
don't have to kill
happens.
anybody. We can carefully set it just off the coastline of Maine.
Hey, we won't drop
Hopefully
it.
it doesn't sink.
How about a middle ground? We just drop all the people on top of Maine. Roughly 10 stories
Yikes.
up.
Right after I was like, we don't have to kill anybody.
No, we don't have to kill them.
They just fall.
Gravity.
Well, they're in Maine at that point.
Maine's killing them.
it's like it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, where like
Yeah.
You chop off the end of the roller coaster.
you chop off the end of the roller coaster, all of the bodies fly into the neighbor
Dude.
roller coaster area,
And so they're
And then
plummeted and
they're out. Everything about theirs, just
their
plummets.
safety rating, dude, I never played Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I did play Thrillville.
Real.
Yeah,
That
Thrillville
game-
is what I meant.
Okay.
Roller Coaster
That game
Tycoon.
was so
Dude.
fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I spent so many hours just in the chinchilla boxing mini game.
Oh, I forgot. The mini games were fun.
I probably played the mini games more than I played the actual game.
Yeah, but like, oh man.
There was a racing one.
We've talked about 2 games now that were really old, specific niche games that we used to play as kids. This one and that Looney Tunes game.
Acme Arsenal. That's what it's called.
Yep, Acme Arsenal. Dude, I'm sure those games don't hold up, but they were so fun as kids.
I did some research into Acme Arsenal.
Yeah, I did too.
It's nothing but scathing reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
From people who are like,
I'm writing this down. We need to go through and read them sometime. That'd be fun on the podcast.
movement is so clunky. It's horrible. Any child that this game this game was bought for them, there's no way they can complete it. It's way too difficult. Because
that bad.
I remember there being jumps.
Yeah,
in
they
that
were
game,
really hard.
platforming levels that were so difficult. Like incredibly difficult to the point where I wasn't even having fun. I was just getting mad at the game.
Oh, that's too bad. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, it was on a castle level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember. I remember like the World War II level with Foghorn Leghorn.
Yes.
That one was so fun.
Yes. Well, I remember the World War II map for the player versus player, and I think you could play as the big red guy. I can never remember what he's called.
The big red guy.
He literally is just a
Oh,
giant
he's like the big monster. Yeah.
red.
Big red M or heart looking
Yeah,
thing.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
All right. Well, that's not what happened this week.
No, we went to the beach.
We went to the beach.
we went to the beach.
To
We
the
went
Oregon
all the
coast.
way, like 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was fun
to
though.
Arcadia.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a cool place called Hug Point, and it's not weird.
Nope.
It's just a really, really steep hill. It's a parking lot, so you feel really dangerous parking on it. And it's like the most beautiful beach in Oregon.
I ate an Oregon cucumber.
Yeah, did you know that you can eat the Oregon cucumber?
Did
It's
we
a
ever
wild-
look up if they were like?
We did.
We did.
You know that 80% sure that Lexi
Yeah.
was?
Our friend,
Yeah, well, it was 20% in not her favor.
They're
And that
poisonous?
was the truth.
you should not eat them.
They're not poisonous.
You should not eat them.
But they
they're
will-
toxic in any
They can cause like severe
significant
rash,
quantity.
make you throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we found a cucumber.
That's hilarious.
It looks
Lexi,
like an
who's a
alien.
friend of ours, and you'll hear her if you listen to our D&D podcast in the future. But she and I were walking down the steps to get onto the beach, and she was like, "Look, those are Oregon cucumbers." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Well, we were going to eat some hot dogs." I was like, "Why not add some veggies to the mix?" You know, kind of joking. And she's like, "Well, I mean, you can eat them." You know, she's like, I'm pretty certain that they're, you know, they grow all over. I learned about them in a biology class, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I look over and I see one, like she had seen the vines or whatever they grow on, and she recognized those. And I see one of them growing. And I'm like, is this it? She's like, yeah. And if you don't know what it looks like, it kind of looks like,
A greenish bowl.
yeah, it's a greenish, like bulb ball thing
That
with
grows
spikes all over it.
with
Yeah, with
spikes
Like
all
little,
over
not
it.
super sharp ones, but little prickly
Yeah,
spines
it
all
looks
over
like if you drew an alien fruit. Because
Yeah.
it's got
Yeah.
different shades of green, and the spikes aren't like
No, they're not sharp,
that
but
should
they're
have been
just
our
they're
first
kind of
clip.
soft.
Yeah.
And then when you cut into it, it's got all
my
these weird
goodness.
teardrop shaped little pods, and it looks alien.
Yeah,
But I
it's
picked
crazy.
it, and I was like, well, if we can eat it, it'd be fun to eat it together. That'd be
you
cool.
kind of
And
take
she's
the
like,
meat off of it like an artichoke.
yeah,
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. And then we got back down there, only to find out she was like, well, I'm 9. She had two probabilities. She's or whatever. She said, I'm 98% certain that this is what I'm saying it is. Number one, which that's pretty good. Pretty good odds.
Yeah.
I'll take.
And
this
then
one.
she said, and I'm 80% sure that if it is that it's not poisonous. Still pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, these numbers, I'm sure she's not just picking them out of her head. They're real numbers. So then, you know, everybody tried it. Well, did you try it?
I did not try it.
I just put
because
it on my lips.
I'm not a very lucky man.
Yeah.
And I chose specifically because she said 80% chance that it's not poisonous.
If anybody was going to roll that 1 through 5,
yeah,
it
would've
been
been
you.
me.
Or 1 through 4, it would have been you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 20% chance. 1 through 4 on a D20. You got it? You play D&D.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about my number?
No, it just until you brought up the D20, it didn't make any sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I mean, for
I
the
was like,
audio listeners, that's a reference to
1
a
to
20-sided
4.
dice. So everybody except for Levi and me tried it. I just put it up to my lips right after Jude was saying that it was the most bitter thing he'd ever tasted. And then I was like, you know what? And I put it on my lips and I was like, I don't really taste anything. I kind of licked it and I was like, I don't think I'm going to risk it because it looked kind of foul.
And then
but
Jude
Jude ate a
kept
piece. Lexi ate most of a piece. I think her husband,
Mike
Mike.
finished the rest of it, peel and all.
Yeah, Mike was like,
Delicious.
can I
tastes
drink
like
some
hand
Tabasco
sanitizer.
vinegar and mustard now?
Yeah. It was very gross.
Yeah. And then Jude looked it up the next day and found out that, in fact, it is that 20% that she was unsure of. Not safe to eat.
Yeah. You shouldn't eat it. Don't eat it.
But she was correct about what it was, right?
It was a wild cucumber.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Wild Oregon cucumber. So don't
I
eat
couldn't
those.
find anything for Oregon cucumbers.
They're just wild
They're
cucumbers,
just wild cucumbers
in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they care much about the state they come from. They're
Well,
not
they're
very.
all over the place.
Yeah. Oregon pride.
Oregon was just like, it's like saying, that's an Oregon dandelion.
Well,
That's just
they're-
a dandelion.
Well, no, but they're in Oregon, so.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you're an Oregon boy.
I'm an Oregon boy.
You're an Oregon
boy. Yeah.
I'm an Oregon boy.
Are we all?
But yeah, the beach was fun. We
very fun.
threw the Frisbee around. Every single time it was thrown to me, it would go a mile over me, and I had to run all the way to the water.
Swim into the
and
ocean.
Quarter mile
He was
away.
on the ocean side. Everybody had to throw into the wind to get it to
Yeah.
me.
So-
So it just never went to me.
Dude, every time I'd look right at Levi, and I'd throw it right at him, the wind would go over him and push it right to Jude. Like perfect
Every
throws to
single
Jude,
time.
but I was throwing it right at Levi. It was very funny. And then every time people threw it at me, it was a mile in the other direction. I had to run and get it. But it was fun.
It was pretty great. At one point, the wind caught it perfectly and just kept it rolling
Yeah. So far. I was in another beach.
for like a football field.
Yeah. But I had fun. Dude, I love throwing Frisbee. I don't know why. It's such a simple thing, but it's so fun to me. I know it's not as fun to other people, but
Not
I
at
love it
all.
so. And I love Ultimate Frisbee. But man,
I do like Ultimate Frisbee.
I could just throw. You know what it is? It's because I like to throw things.
Amen
Probably.
to that.
I really
You like
like
to
to
throw things to a fault.
No,
so
it's
much
actually not.
so.
You're the only person.
If your
that
dog was a little bit
No, our
smaller,
entire family thought that.
I
for the
realized I was
first, like-
talking to somebody the other day. I love to throw things because it's fun to throw, like a baseball or whatever. But what's really fun is I think I like playing fetch with my dog more than she does. Because
That's-
I
I can
get
see
to,
needs.
she loves it, by the way.
oh, she does.
Oh yeah, she like comes back like, and she thinks it's the greatest thing. But I will throw something as far as I can, which I love to do that. It's just fun, and I don't have to do anything else because she brings it right back to me, and then I get to do it all over again. Which is in a way, you know how people always joke about how dumb dogs are because they like to go grab something and bring it back. I'm just as dumb apparently because I like to just keep throwing it and throwing it. And I find just as much enjoyment in
Yeah.
it. And I'm not doing it because I'm like, oh, she'll love this. I love it. I love to just chuck the ball as far as I can. It's
When
fun.
we were younger, Jerry's cardinal flaw was that if you were a foot to 3 feet away,
No.
and you asked, "Hey Jerry,
No.
hand me the
None of this is
remote,"
true.
that's code for remote. He would full force chuck it at the center of your
none of
body
this is true.
as hard as he could. Hey Jeremy, as we used to call him when he was younger, give me
Jude
that
couldn't
glass
say
of water.
R's without adding an M.
And he would just chuck it center mass as hard as he could at you.
What?
He was an animal. I cried so much because I got hit with things.
But
he would
every time I
at me.
threw it and it hit you in the chest, the TV would turn on.
That's true.
was
We
crazy.
did eventually figure out that that's how you turn on the TV. Is to pummel your brother.
So now every time I'm in my room and I have to turn my TV on, I grab my remote.
Jerry bangs on my door.
Jude, let me in. You're like, no, I don't
I'm
want to do
crying
anything. I'm
in
like,
the
dude, I
corner.
gotta watch TV.
You wake up in the middle of the night. Just,
Yeah.
hey,
like Luke over Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I gotta watch TV. Wham! Yeah.
It's very cool.
No, but yeah, we had fun at the beach.
We have a great spot at the beach
It's so
where the rocky cliffside just goes into this little cave.
Oh, and it's such a perfect place. Somebody else found it like just before we were there, and they had broken so many bottles.
Yeah.
Dude, we found at least 3 glass bottles worth of glass.
I was sitting there
Shattered and in the
digging
sand.
in one spot, just pulling out these massive pieces of glass.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I left them back in the sand for the next people, so it'd be a little fair. You know,
No,
just buried them,
We picked them all up and then gathered
made
them
a
up.
little shrine.
And then at the end,
fed them to the seagulls.
I brought them to the trash can.
Oh,
Actually,
very
I
nice.
left them in Levi's car.
Are you serious?
No. I brought them back in your trunk in our trash bag, and then I threw them away here at the shop.
And then they got lost in the back of my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all over. Nope. We threw it away. You got to leave it better than the way you found it.
We did. I mean, technically, we gathered it up and
Yeah.
put it into a little hole in the cliffside, made a little shrine of broken glass.
No, I did actually gather it up after that
did?
too and bring it back. Yes, I threw it away.
But I am incredibly surprised that we didn't have like any actual like pieces of glass getting like shoved into our feet.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we were very diligent.
Yeah, it's also pretty hard, like, after having cleaned it, to not be diligent about where you put your feet.
No, I mean, I don't think it would have been hard at all
Really?
for that to happen on accident.
I
in the
think it
little
would have
cave?
been incredibly easy for that to happen because there were still large pieces.
Yeah.
When Lexi and Mike got there after an hour of us like cleaning up the place, and we were like actually like setting up to like
I thought we didn't find any more after that.
we did
We did
when
until,
Lexi
like, the
and
very
Mike
end of the
found it,
night, basically, find
Yeah.
pieces.
we were finding little pieces.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we never stopped adding to the shrine.
The entire night?
Almost the entire night, yeah.
Because when Lexi and Mike got there, I thought that maybe we found like one more after that, and they were like,
Certainly
yeah,
more
see
than
what
one.
you mean, or see what we mean. There's more, and then we never found any more after
No,
that.
'cause
No,
even
I
Lexi
found them
pulled one
where
up
I
and
was
then-
sitting.
Yeah.
I just like put my hand because I had been like digging with my feet earlier.
Yeah. Like a
And then
monkey.
I just put my hand down for some reason to touch the sand, and I just pulled out a hunk of glass.
Well, the purpose is, don't do that. Don't break bottles
break
on the
bottles
beach
at the
because
beach.
we all could have cut our feet.
And we had a little tiny dog with us.
We did.
He
That's
could have
true.
died.
Little tiny dog named King.
We had to yell at him from.
Who did
going
not die.
over to
not
the
for lack of
shrine.
trying.
No. Yeah. So I guess if nothing else has gone on with our week, there was something we talked about that we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah.
You guys know what it is.
Yeah. This week, my On Route with Jude segment.
Oh yeah. I completely skipped that, didn't I? Jude's got a little special thing.
I got a
for
little
us.
special story.
Let's go ahead and real quick for this week on Route with Jude.
On route with Jude.
So this happened at home. Nothing really happened on route, but I did have something interesting happen at home.
That was so much better than I ever could.
Ever could have conceptualized. Yeah, I got another wrong number text message, which seems to be happening a lot now. I get like bot texts sometimes and weird
Yeah, everybody
stuff.
gets that.
And I
that
really
we don't
thought that's
speak
what
of.
this was because the opening line, I have no idea how it could be a wrong number because the opening line is, Vicky, promise me it's time to think for yourself. And so that's literally, they need something to get a response and then they'll be like, whoa, it's fate that we met. Here's a link to
But you thought that this wasn't there?
terrorist virus.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I figured it was, but I always give the response line. I said, I know, ellipses. I just can't leave him behind. That was my response.
Remind me. Sorry, what was the first message?
The prompt sent to me was,
Yeah.
Vicky, promise me it's time to think for yourself.
Wow.
Vicky promised me.
Vicky, promise me.
Oh,
Like
promise
beckoning
me.
a promise.
Not promised. Okay.
It's time to think for yourself. And
Promise
so,
me that it is time to think for myself. Okay. Interesting.
what, are you so lost?
No, I'm not lost at all. I'm just
I
considering.
feel like
I'm,
he's lost.
I'm literally not lost at all. Shut up. I'm running through it in my head, trying to come up with what the context must be.
Oh.
because it's interesting.
Yeah. And so I put on my Vicky pants and I said, I know. I just can't leave him behind. And then they responded, yes.
You picked a very specific scenario there.
I know.
I mean,
you were
shot in the dark. It's 50,
putting all the money on black there.
I'm weaving the narrative.
It's 50.
And so they respond, and I know it's a bot.
Well, yeah, all
because
money's on
the
black.
response is, yes, how are you? How are you now?
That's a bummer.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, half clothed but fully submerged in gravy if you catch my boogie.
Ew. Why would you respond in that way?
Because I knew it was a bot at this point, so I was just waiting for here's the URL to the terrorist organization and whatever.
Yeah. Here's the URL to ISIS.
Yeah, here's the URL.
As if that's what they would say to you.
Yeah.
Here's the backdoor to our
Oh, that's the correct code. Here are your tickets to Al Qaeda Central.
You guessed the password.
Yeah.
Here's your tickets to Al Qaeda. Yeah.
And I said, oh my gosh, you're horrible.
What?
That was what they sent back.
Oh.
And so I went, listen, there's a 99.9% chance you're a bot, or a 1% chance this is the wrong number. Either way, I'm flattered. And then they responded, I'm not a robot. I'm 100% a real person.
Well, I was considering, because what you responded about leaving him or whatever, if you had guessed the scenario correct,
If I had
their
guessed
response
the
makes
scenario
sense.
correct.
Yeah.
So why didn't you assume you did?
Yes, how are you now? That's
Because you said,
ridiculous.
I have to leave him behind. And they said, yes, how are you now? Because you just came to the realization you're
that's
breaking up with your boyfriend or husband. It makes sense. Their response is perfectly legitimate.
Okay, in the moment,
You blew it.
yeah. And
No,
I
wait, how does it
said,
continue?
okay, ellipses. And then they responded, I still have 100% the wrong number. You're horrible. Goodbye.
Is that where it ends?
Wait. I didn't mean to. I said, well, I've been known to be a bit presumptuous. And they responded, does everyone know you are like this?
Oh,
It was like, this is
it's
really
attacking your-
personal.
Wait, what did you do that was so wrong?
I don't know.
Go
I don't know.
along.
Half clothed, fully submerged in gravy.
that could
If you
be
catch my
considered a
boogie,
little
and maybe Vicky's really going through something intense, and this person,
And this person's like been spending
You know,
all
really
of their
doesn't make
emotional
strung
energy.
out.
Hang on.
Like,
What doesn't make sense, though, the context kind of clues us that they're in the middle of a conversation already before
Yeah,
this,
but-
right?
yes.
So
Okay,
how
what's
did they
the
text
context
you?
that they send the wrong number, Vicky? You have to let him go.
So
whatever they
it
send.
can't be real.
It can't be real. That's what I'm thinking. I was like, I mean, yeah, I responded to the wrong number with a nonsensical submerged in gravy line. I don't think it's the end of the world. And they said, all right, period. And that's where I thought it was.
Someone's got a bit of attitude.
Yeah. But then I was like, they ended the conversation, which means it's probably not a bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just with all the evidence I've had.
Yeah.
And then they
you called
responded
them.
an hour later, do you have any photos? And now I know. Oh, it's a bot.
What? I guess.
They're getting better, but it's a bot.
Yeah.
like it's got to be.
It has to be. But this bot is responding intentionally. So I did send a photo, and it's a photo of a large man submerged in a bathtub, with a
Hot
chain
tub.
around
Well,
his
not in a
hot tub.
weird way. It's just his face.
It's just his
it's
face
just his
smiling at the
face.
camera, and I said, plenty.
Jude will post it in the Under the Influence channel next week. So
And then they went, wow, you have a lot of personality.
oh, now it's getting vague, like a bot.
Yeah. But I believe this is not your picture. And I'm like, this is a bot.
Well,
This is
maybe.
no one says, but I believe this is not your picture. There's no, it's all word
You
by
got to
word.
try and lead them on to like say something specific about the picture.
Yeah, I said, it's me. It's all in the goatee. My phone is getting destroyed in this hot tub. And then I sent them a picture of Dwayne The Rock Johnson screaming at the top of his lungs.
What? Let me see.
That I didn't screenshot.
Oh,
And I said,
Did you
just
go-
kidding. This is me. And then they responded
you
with
sent them like a link.
the
to
tickets
it?
to Al Qaeda. And I
Wait, what? Is it?
Well, that's code. But then they responded
Oh.
to the Dwayne The Rock Johnson picture with tickets to Al Qaeda, and I went, these bots are getting really good.
Yeah.
And then I deleted the conversation.
Wow.
But I thought it was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
While I was sitting there on the porcelain throne, I was like, this is insane. I went from thinking definitely a bot, not a bot, definitely a bot, not a bot, back to 100%
Definitely not a bot.
definitely ISIS.
What if they're just using
Nope.
actual people?
Nope. Well, they might be.
Well, they might
Well,
be,
they're
yeah.
probably using real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To have a real, or at
Which
least
is crazy.
real conversation.
Like, there's real
But,
people.
like,
because the
with
tickets they
broken-
sent.
It's not that crazy because
Not
these
kosher.
scams and stuff are.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money.
I know, but they're getting intelligent.
Wait, what was the end game? Is tickets to Al Qaeda code for what I think it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was a link,
Yeah,
and
that's
it was like,
unfortunate. Okay.
well, here's a picture of me. And it was
okay.
another picture of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Wait, you were talking to Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
I was. It was, in truth,
It was Dwayne. The
Dwayne
Rock
was
Johnson
talking to his good
trying
friend Vicky.
to help Vicky through
Yeah.
her breakup.
Yeah, that's
Man.
unfortunate.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson gets easily offended. You're horrible.
Yeah, you're horrible. Are you like this to everyone?
Does everybody know you're like this?
Does everybody know you're like this?
I was like, who are you? And they're like, can't you smell it?
Can't you smell what the Rock?
What The Rock is cooking.
You're like, oh, is this The Rock again?
Ah, Dwayne.
He's like, oh, Jude, sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna go back to benching 1,500 pounds
Yeah.
at 2 a.m. because that's when I wake up.
It was just a wild roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, that's
But I
fun.
reported blocked. And yeah.
Oh, you blocked him.
That's why I had to use the screenshots, yeah.
Well, thanks for that. That was a good segment of On Route with Jude.
Yeah.
Not on
Talked
route.
with Al Qaeda a little bit.
We gotta close the segment out.
On route with Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take any opportunity I have to play that stinger. I'm very proud of it.
Why?
I'm very proud of it. I think it's,
It's a
hilarious.
good. It's good.
It's a good stinger. It's the only stinger we
It
have.
could be like
too.
a second shorter,
Nah.
or just the screen. Hear me.
Literally
out.
on Route with Jude.
Cut out everything but the.
That would be funny. All right, we're well into this episode, but let's go ahead and talk about something I think is important to the three of us.
Private education.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but why are we grateful to have gone to a Christian school?
Who said I was grateful? Boom.
I know
End the episode on a cliffhanger.
The question is a little presumptuous. Yeah.
Catch us next.
But I've been never
Why
getting
are
answers on
Levi
this.
and I grateful and Jude is so ungrateful? Why is Jude the villain again?
I'm incredibly grateful that I was privileged enough.
Go ahead, man.
It's an interesting.
You got
it's
it.
an interesting. It's probably one of the very few things in life where I'm incredibly grateful for it without ever having to firsthand experience the alternative, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I was homeschooled until 5th grade. I
40
went to
years old?
school during the 5th grade. And then we did a little bit of like a co-op thing in our
wasn't then.
old
Yeah.
church building.
When you and I were both homeschooled I was homeschooled through 8th grade. You were homeschooled through 4th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then while you were probably in first through, no,
Was it
probably
that early?
kindergarten. Well, it had to be because we were out of it for a couple of years before going to.
Yeah. I thought it was like
School.
1st through 3rd.
It might have been, but I think we were out of it for
about a
like 2
babe.
years before going.
Oh.
Because we had at least a full homeschool year. And then we had that year where we basically did nothing.
We didn't do anything.
I mean, I know I did nothing.
Yeah. We just skipped. I mean, you can
I mean, I
skip
did like
first grade.
I skipped 8th.
That one's more important.
8th grade.
Dude, my 8th grade year, my mom had just had her 5th kid, so our youngest sister Jenna, and my dad was working, more than full time. It was her raising 5 kids, and so we were doing this program where for a long time we had done Abeka Books, which is a Christian, homeschool whatever. It's a tough curriculum. It's based out of Pensacola Christian University or whatever in Florida. They make them. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, we had been doing that through my 6th or 7th grade year for a long time. And then that last one, we did some online, like you get a DVD set. What's up? No. Oh, you get a DVD set and it runs you through your lessons. And I did it.
Oh.
I did that. I don't know if you did.
I
I think
remember
you did
doing
too.
a math DVD.
Yeah, it was math DVD. And then the other stuff was some Abeka books. And, it was just like kind of a hodgepodge. I mean, this is not to downplay my mom as if she wasn't doing a good job.
No,
she just, there wasn't much she could do
Yeah, it's a lot of
with
work.
us individually. So it was like, here are some workbooks, do your work. And then for the most part, the first third of that school year, yeah, I did what I had to do, and I would get done in an hour and a half, and then do whatever I wanted. And then towards the end of the year, I didn't do anything.
4th grade math.
But then
was
I tested
all-
into 9th grade with you guys. So
It was all just putting in the disc, clicking through a section of 20 questions until it would get to the end screen, and then you could overview the questions you had done. And then if you clicked next after you had overviewed, you didn't even have to answer the questions. It would just say chapter complete.
yeah.
So I did
But it
literally
wasn't
no math.
none of that information or work was checked by anyone or to anything. So it wouldn't matter if you didn't
I
do
thought
it.
there was like a higher power because in
Yeah,
4th grade,
but
I
it wasn't
was thinking
online.
like,
They're discs.
this is on it. Well, it was on a computer. So I was like,
whatever.
there must be some people that are checking this. Like they're gonna like send
Some
my
guy
mom an
that's like,
email.
All right, Jude's on question 5.
Yeah.
Oh, he skipped it. Jude. Oh, he skipped
NSA.
8. He skipped it. He's skipping all the. He's skipping. He can't do this. Jude's skipping all the questions.
Yeah. I did know 4th grade math.
Well, I guess we'll give him a chapter complete.
That was great. But I customized the heck out of my little character because you'd have a little
you could have a little
bobblehead looking
character.
guy in the top right.
Yeah.
Which was the only thing that made it remotely interesting.
The only thing I did that was online was my spelling, which was a class. I guess I did. I think that was earlier. I don't know, but I did some like weird spelling thing. Yeah. So we were homeschooled. We did a homeschool co-op group, which was like on Fridays you would show up. It was at a church. A bunch of homeschool moms would basically make a curriculum of classes, and then it was like an integration kind of thing. Like you got to go to classes with students. You had homework in addition to whatever you were doing for your actual schooling. And
Our
the
dad
goal
briefly taught a medieval
did.
history.
Our dad for 1 year did a medieval history class, which I was at the time going to be able to do it in 2 years, and I was looking forward to it so much. And then they didn't. He either didn't have the time to do it anymore, but I heard from all what were the cool kids at that time that it was the coolest class because he would bring in swords and suits of armor and all this stuff, and it was such a cool class that I wish I had been able to do because he loves medieval history.
Yeah, that's when he got those books, Medieval Weaponry.
Yeah.
I still have those.
Yeah,
They're super
I
cool.
think they're in a box of stuff from when we
They're
were
in my room on my bookshelf.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then he had like some Templar style armor stuff.
I
that he had
remember
bought,
that.
Yeah.
I remember never getting to actually go into class, but just having him talk about it all the time. It was cool.
Yeah.
But there was
no,
a whole mafia involved in the co-op, and like money was getting laundered. We had to leave.
none of that is true.
Well,
But we stopped
Some of
going
it's
to that
true.
for various reasons eventually. And then, somebody who went to that, who is now in Christian Influence and listens to this podcast.
I heard.
You know who you are.
Serendina.
And we know who you are.
Oh, just name drop him.
What's wrong with saying the name? We did that for a while, and then there were a couple of years where we didn't do schooling, and then we went to Willamette Valley Christian School.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say the name of it? Whatever, it should be fine, right?
It's a tremendous school.
It
I
is,
could
yeah.
not recommend enough.
If we're going to say the name, we should talk about how great it is.
It's a phenomenal school. I can't think of a single teacher. That's
think
it.
of
I
one.
can't remember a single teacher. I can't think of a single teacher that didn't have every student's best interest
kidding.
personally in mind, except for
Except for maybe one of them.
maybe
who-
one of them.
Yeah.
and he knows
may or
who he
may
is.
not
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. No,
Nearby.
honestly, I can't. I also can't think of a single teacher who didn't go above and beyond.
Yeah, I was just these past 2 weeks we've been training one of the workers. I've been training one of the workers on the delivery side of the kettle corn business, and we're just regaling tales from school and how much
Yeah.
we love these teachers and how they cared about us and really, especially in hindsight, I can see how specific tests,
Yeah.
and like how teachers just went out of their way to make sure that I wasn't necessarily like doing well, but learning the material.
Yeah, things that also weren't strictly academic in nature too. That would be in classes, like not just Bible classes, but like classes like
History.
science and history and things that didn't just pertain to the academics of those subjects that were important. I don't think that there will ever be a time in my life where I don't have somebody in my life that's from that school. Does that sentence make sense?
You'll never be without somebody
Yes,
that
there we
went
go.
to
That's a
that
better way of
school.
saying it. Yeah, either somebody that I went to the school with, or somebody that I know that has taught there, or is working there, or something like that. Yeah, no, it's such a phenomenal thing. But why do we think it's so phenomenal? And like, how did it affect us personally? And I think that this can tie into something that's been a topic that a recurring topic kind of, but it's been an answer to a lot of topics that we've talked about, which is, steeping yourself in positive atmosphere, specifically biblical atmosphere, and fellowship with believers, and learning, from believers, and going to people and asking questions, all of these things. This is a big part of that for the three of us in our lives. Why is it so phenomenal? Why was it so important to us?
Well, anecdotally for me, I think this applies in some regard to everybody. But like the things you struggle with during high school, because those are still present. There's still cool kids. It was also a very small school. But the things you struggle with in high school, and this is made evidently clear in hindsight, the highs are much higher and the lows are much higher. Once I graduated and talked to people who had gone to public school, who had done different just types of education, who are great people, and I care.
When you
about
say
them.
higher, you mean higher than at a public school?
Yes, like the stakes of the lows aren't as low. Like the things I remember being.
Well, if you're
let
gonna
me
use the
just
word
try and explain it.
Yeah, when you use the word stakes, now
yeah.
you're saying
Let's-
it.
Yeah,
Let's
let
let
me
him
just try to explain
explain
it.
it.
The things I struggled with and the stuff I battled with was not nearly as bad as some of the things that people who went to public schools had to battle with.
Or as
and things
bad.
that consumed my entire world. Like I felt just as terrified and worried or like sad about these things were nowhere near the type of things that people had to deal with outside the school.
Not only the type of things, but those same things would have, as bad as those same things would have been at a public school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the mistake, if I really screwed up, I never was in as of a dangerous environment as someone who could really screw up in public school. It's hard to say, and it definitely was real for me and maybe less people. It's not as prevalent for others. But something that contributes to that is an environment that just fosters care, Christian values, and really cares about the students' success.
Yeah, and I think student success is a broad enough term that it applies to a lot of public schools as well. But what is being defined as success is very different at the school we went to, right?
Yeah.
What is seen as success or being a successful student and all that, not to just to mention, but like the requirements for graduation are different. They're higher requirements, right? It's a more extensive curriculum. And the standard, I should say, is set higher, which I think is important. Like when you and I have talked about this a lot, Levi, like when we graduated and we went to a community college, at least I know for me, the writing class, I was like, whoa, what? We have to start with learning how to read? Like, I mean, I understand there are some failings, or a lot of failings in the public school system, and some people, it's difficult for them to learn. But I was definitely surprised to learn that going to a community college, the first, not even, because it wasn't like I was in the lowest level of a writing class.
Like
I was
in 101.
No, well, there's below 101, which is 90, which is reading. You have to take a reading class, and some people have to do that. But like, there's writing 101 or whatever, and I think I was in writing 140, I think. But even in that, it's like, well, we have to learn how to read things so that we can write about them. And I was like, oh, that's an important topic, but it was like way over discussed already in high school. And then by the end of said class, I was still like, all of this is well below what I had completed at my high school. But the people around me were like, this was new information, or it was difficult information. Which is, I'm not trying to say that to be like,
No.
I was wasting my time with these losers, but not at all. But like, it speaks to the standard, the high standard that is set at a school that is, well, paid for, right? Which is something that, a lot of people will think about, like, well, why would I pay for a school when there's a free one Or why would I just pay to go to a school that is a Christian environment? Which I think there are important reasons for that. But also, you pay for a lot more as well.
Yeah, the
You pay
educational
for
level
a
alone.
real good education.
But it kind of depends on where you go.
That's true.
Because
There are
when,
private schools that
when I was a child, back in
When you
I
were
went
young,
to
weren't you?
preschool
1992.
and at a different school than Willamette Valley Christian. And while I was in the preschool classes, my brother was in the first grade, and he's learning his stuff or whatever. And we come to find out partway in that his grading requirements were all set by him. So however much he wanted to learn, he's like, okay, so each person has their own grading criteria, and it's set by the student so that everyone gets an A. So whatever you're able to complete, that is what is an A. So everyone was honor students. But we found out, we left that school and went to a different one because we're like, this isn't like gonna help him at all. And we go to Willamette Valley Christian, and we find out that Byron was 100% illiterate. He was
an honorable illiterate.
Yeah, he was a straight A's illiterate first grader.
They line up the first graders and they go, hey Johnny, what'd you learn today? You got an A, so what'd you learn? And he goes, well, I learned how to find the circumference of a circle. And they go, oh, Byron, you got an A. What'd you learn? He's like, well, I learned how to tie my shoes.
That's horrible.
I learned 3 + 4 is 7 today.
But no, and we found out that he had dyslexia.
Right.
And it was something that is a big challenge for him, but we didn't even know that he wasn't able to.
Because the grades are coming back
anything.
not reflecting dyslexia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was a big wake-up call. So he ended up doing first grade again.
What if, I mean, think of it this way, though. What if out of necessity to be pushed harder, he developed dyslexia?
He's so far beyond. He's like,
He's
I
so
have to
far
give
behind,
myself a handicap.
He gives himself a handicap. No, but it was a...
Well, he
it was,
gives himself a handicap to prove his power.
Yeah.
But it was a serious,
No,
issue.
that is insane.
Because, your formative years, it's so much easier to learn things.
Aren't all years formative years?
Yeah,
No.
but
Once
when
you hit
you're
79.
the younger that you are, the easier it is.
Up until 79, is that what you said? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess 80 is where your formative years end.
You're losing form at that point.
You're losing form.
But being so young, it's really easy to learn languages and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
your brain is malleable.
it's a lot more difficult to overcome things later on, but the later that you wait. And so yeah, we went into Willamette Valley, and there was a much higher criteria for everything.
Yeah.
And then financial issues came up, and we ended up having to be homeschooled. And my mom was working 3 part-time jobs while trying to homeschool 3 rowdy boys. And it was horrible. We did not learn much. I found a journal from that time, and it was scary. But
One of your journals?
yeah.
You didn't just
Some journal.
It was my own journal that
1776.
it had my horrible handwriting, right?
Yeah.
Except this was 3rd grade Levi.
Oh, so it was a little better.
Yeah. Only I could read it, and it was even harder. It was difficult for me to decipher.
They were just grilling the theses.
No, the the SpongeBob thing where it's capital and then non-capital. There was that mixed in with my regular handwriting.
Wait, I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The thing where it's and it's the
The
capital
meme.
and
The
capital, non-capital, non.
But you wrote like that.
I mean, there were some words that were entirely capital and some words that weren't, and it wasn't for emphasis. It was just.
But you should read it like it was.
I should have.
Your parents were trying so desperately to read into it. And it's why does he capitalize the word bench? What does it mean? Trying to be therapeutic.
That's funny.
But man, yeah, and it was much better to go back to school.
All the chairs are making horrible sounds. Sorry.
Nothing against my mom, but it's difficult to do.
Homeschool is not easy.
No. I do think it's great. It's one of those other things too. You have to you have to be really what's the word I'm looking for? Diligent with, right?
Precocious.
Well, I mean, like it has to be. You have to be doing regular checkups, like to see
Yeah.
that things are being.
very
Because like at the
involved.
beginning of when we were doing it, I think when I went into third grade and when I went into fifth grade, I had to go to Corbin University and do like a test thing that was proving that I was at. It was like an aptitude test or something, proving that I was at that level. And then after that, I think I was supposed to do it every 2 years, and then after fifth grade, you're supposed to do it every year, and I never did it again. Which I thought it was like a legal requirement, which I think it is, but I never did it again. And then the next time I tested like that was going into WVCS, and I was so nervous because I was like, well, I want to go into the grade because my birthday's weird, so I could technically be in either. I'm going to be either the youngest, absolute youngest person in the grade that I ended up being in, or I'm going to be, well, actually no, or I'll just be like normal age in the grade below that. Because like there were plenty of people that were older than me that were in the grade below.
I mean, some of those people were held back as well.
I don't think the one I'm thinking of was, but whatever. But yeah, I was like, I want to be, I don't know what I want to be. I don't know if I want to be in high school or if I want to be in middle school. And then I'm so glad that I
You
was in
made
high
the
school.
right choice.
Yeah, well, I wasn't the choice, but yeah. Oh no, it was. They gave me the Mrs. Reichel gave me the option. She was like, yeah, or at least it was presented as an option through my parents. I'm pretty sure I had the choice. Yeah, because of where I tested into it, but they were like, well, because of your age, you could do what
I had to
you want.
fight tooth and nail and not get thrown in third grade.
Well, was that because of your grades?
No. That was a joke.
Oh. I guess it went right over my
Instead of being in fifth grade,
They throw me in third.
They-
head. Oh,
throw you
I
in
forgot you were
there.
starting in fifth.
Started in fifth.
They're like, we think you'd be a better fit.
Please no.
The
but
tallest third grader.
being homeschooled for that year, there were some good things that came out of it. My mom found like a bunch of resources to help dyslexia.
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
To actually learn how to read.
That's
And
good. That's good to have hands.
So there were a bunch of extra, because it's something that is difficult to overcome.
Yeah.
And I went through it as well, and I like jumped up like reading levels.
Like without having dyslexia, it helped give you an advantage. Yeah, dude, I'm so surprised by like just this is kind of I guess what I was talking about earlier, but like the reading level of the average American.
It's
depressing.
It was very depressing going to college and like
People read like seriously, just do it because that's the only way you get better at it. Like I read a ton as a kid, and I'm so glad that I was forced to.
Yeah.
My dad was like, "You have to read this book," and then I learned to love it. Read. But I would be like, "I don't want to read this stupid book," and then when he'd be like, "Okay, if you don't read it, then you don't get allowance or whatever.
get to
You lose
eat."
privileges." And then
wow, you guys got allowance?
no, we didn't. I don't know why I said that.
We got
lose
on
privileges.
this weird reward system my parents would implement.
Well, that was for like a year.
We got tickets at one point we could spend on prizes like
Like
oranges
Awanas?
and soda.
yeah, it was weird.
And then we would just break into the prize cabinet and steal
And then just take
tickets.
them anyway. I'd be like, I want that grape soda.
It was a lawless land.
Yeah, it was the Wild West. No.
My best friend in middle school, I would
read.
spend the summers out there and you get paid underneath the table for like doing like garbage work.
Yeah.
Like because we were
Yeah.
children.
Child labor.
Yeah. But
Oh, yeah. I know what that's about.
So.
Not child labor, I guess, but like I worked in my dad's company since I was like 8.
Yeah.
So child labor.
But it wasn't illegal.
Pretty much. I
It's
was
not
only
illegal if it's a family
lugging
business.
logs up and
You
down
just
the
can't
hill
work
all
a
day.
certain number of hours.
It's a crazy child labor.
But yeah, if it's a family-owned business, fairly certain.
people need to
Wait a second. I think that's just what I was always told.
It might have just been what
It's
you were.
definitely just child labor.
No, I don't think so. Because I wasn't in chains, so it wasn't slavery.
That's true.
Because that is what makes it
As
slave.
long as I worked, they gave me food and water. So like,
As
wasn't
long as I
child
worked,
labor.
they gave me food. and-
Yeah, I liked food. I liked water, and so
They
said,
gave me things I liked.
Yeah, they said go wash those dishes, and you can have food and water. and if you
Sometimes
don't, you can drink the dishwater.
I could spend my tickets on food.
Hey,
or
you're getting
water.
paid for this. I am? Yay. How much am I getting paid? A happy
Dinner.
Hey, Toby,
meal.
Toby Mac shout out, dude.
Ah, Toby Mac.
That old song, man. It's so sad that he's dead.
His son.
Gosh dang it.
That little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Toby Mac
breaks
is
my
not
heart.
dead.
Toby Mac's not. His son, unfortunately, died, which is the little kid in that song,
Yes.
or who is the whatever. You all right? No, we have danced
raising your
around this
hand for
topic now, but we really have not answered it. We're
yeah,
repeating
sorry.
past episodes where we have a question and then we don't answer it. But in this case, we really haven't talked about anything fruitful. We've had fun stories, but no, why is it important?
Why is it important, Jerry?
Well, you were answering it and then didn't.
What are you talking about? I gave poorly worded an answer.
You did?
Yeah.
Why it's important to go to a Christian school or to send your children there?
He
was like the good atmosphere.
Well, the
good
bubble
vibes.
that like is often memed
Yeah.
on, like, oh, private school kids are in a bubble. It's like, yeah, I was, and I'm extremely grateful for it because the stakes were a lot lower with mistakes. Higher. I don't know how the word stakes work.
No, so what you're trying to say is,
Thank you.
if you had been, I mean, what I'm guessing
No, I need this.
is the issues you struggled with were like the level at which the low is at is at a high is like not as
Yeah,
low.
I was in a much safer environment, which now sounds elementary. But
like
no pun
if
intended.
you're going to struggle with specific things, right? Like like clicks or things like that, which naturally happen no matter what you do to a certain extent in social scenarios and situations where especially a lot of teenagers are involved, they are handled much more appropriately in a situation like that. Well, and one of the big benefits of these types of schools typically is that they are smaller.
Yeah.
You get more one-on-one time with teachers, but also you are in a smaller atmosphere that's not so small that it's detrimental, like what maybe in some cases homeschool can be, if there's not, work put into making sure that your children
And
are.
the principals have the free time to watch you specifically
That's
if there's
true.
any activity going on with more than just your class.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, these smaller atmospheres are extremely beneficial.
I mean, I can name everyone in my graduating class. My class was always sub 20 kids, and it was.
I think if I really thought about it, I could name everyone that was in the high school when I was there in my
I don't know.
senior year.
I can name almost everyone in the high school. I'm sure that there are a few.
Yeah, the two people I'll forget, I'd feel real bad about.
Which is why we won't do it on air.
Yeah, we're not gonna
55
do
out
it.
of 57. Oops. Yeah, no, I think there were like 60 kids there. When
I thought it was like 44.
Oh, maybe our
High school
last
was
year.
a lot bigger during my years.
Well, our last year it was the biggest year while we were there, and then because it only got bigger until COVID. But, oh no, it got bigger as a result.
But
of
our
COVID.
graduating class was like the
maybe not.
biggest that there had been for
until
the
the
time.
direct
Until there was
until
like
the
a 20
when they had
or something.
22 or something.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours was 12.
Which is crazy for us.
Because we also had the biggest class at all, like until like it got beat.
yeah, but
Like
until it
eighth
got
grade, we had like 26,
until high school. I mean, usually they're bigger in like
And
middle
then-
school and stuff, and
yeah,
they fall
and
off.
then everybody
Kids
goes
get
off to
sent.
their high school that their parents went to, or
Yeah. No, I think one of the reasons why it's so important and it's been so impactful in my life is, I mean, number one, this school specifically put the Bible first before, I mean, even academics, which are a huge thing, as we've established, but the Bible always came first, right? Regular biblical studies. I mean, a class, one of our 8 classes every day devoted to the Bible. As a result of that class, right, over the course of the 4 years I was there, we read through the entire Bible. So at the very least, if I've never gone back as an adult and actually read through it myself, I have some fundamentals that are very important. And I've learned more and more about, like, not just in academics, but I'm incredibly privileged to have, like, read the whole Bible. Like, there's little nuggets and stuff in there that at the time I don't realize that I'm retaining, but like talking to people as a young adult, I realize, oh, there's little nuggets in there that I've retained that I'm so thankful to have read through the Bible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say forced, but like made to read through it in a specific way, which is through the form of, what are they called? Soaps? We never called them that when I was
gosh.
there. But like,
yeah, we didn't call them that.
But you're
that was
asked.
like the-
You're asked to, in everything. Every time you read it, you
Scripture,
have to write the
observation,
scripture, observation,
application.
and an application, and then a question.
or a prayer and a question. It got weird during my.
There wasn't always prayer. That was like extra credit. But like the point was to read the scripture. Well, there was no extra credit actually, but you could put that in there. But like
And
have
we
an
had to do it
observation.
every single day, and it was checked every single day.
Yeah, it was checked every single day, and then on Fridays, the questions you had collected throughout the week was your opportunity to ask.
Dude, that
those
was the
questions.
best.
Yeah, it
Honestly,
was amazing.
When we were done with all of our stuff, and then it was just Friday question day. We would just like sit on our desks.
Well, we would spend like the first third of the class maybe running through what was important on the Friday that had to be gone over, and then the rest of the class would be devoted to, okay, what are your biblical questions from this week? And sometimes, what was really funny is when everybody is together reading through like the Quran, no, the like all the names and stuff.
Yeah.
Like who begot who and begot who.
Yeah.
Everybody is like, all right, hey, Mr. Garvey, here's my soaps, and here's the scripture. My observation is there's a lot of names. The application, be diligent and stick through things that are difficult. And then the question, why are we reading all these names?
Why are we
But
reading
like
all these
when you go
names?
through stuff, I mean, but even out of that, I remember sometimes we had really good.
I mean, on
Question
those,
times.
on those portions of time, we could basically just ask whatever.
Yeah, because even then, our
And
Bible
it
teacher was like,
a lot less structured around what we had just been reading.
he's like, if you have a question out of this, he's like, I'm impressed. But if you don't, general biblical questions. But yeah, I mean, I value those times. I remember valuing them then, but I value them higher now
Yeah.
because they have, being guided through reading the entire Bible in high school was very valuable. And then, above and beyond all of that, the teachers there would go out of their way to ensure that the curriculum was being taught, but also that the number one focus in our lives as teenagers was our relationship with Christ. And I think that's still true to this day, if not even more.
Oh yeah. They were really, really diligent in bending, but never breaking for a student. Bending in every way they could to make sure that the student is able to understand, the student does, but then also holding students accountable. There was never just, at least in my time, whatever, this student will just, not do it.
Yeah.
So they get by or whatever. They really made sure you learned. And the scripture, we were already learning at a higher level usually than each grade had, but the scripture never supplemented the education. It was just on top of, which I really liked. Great place. A lot of cool people. They had a bumper pool table in the high school cafeteria that, started my passion for bumper pool.
Yeah, which you've since then become a professional.
I had to retire early because of an injury, but I could have gone pro.
Dude, Olympics were right around the corner. Too.
I know.
And that was going to be the year that they were going to have bumper pool at the Olympics.
I know. I made it to nationals for bumper pool. Little known fact.
Yeah.
That's not true at all.
Yeah, one of those facts that's not true.
What are those called?
I don't know if there was something else you wanted to say, Levi, but
Why be
we've kind of been
quiet, Levi? Do you
slowly
hate the
working
school?
our way around the table.
Oh no, I really like the school, but being such a small environment, I kind of had the loudest voice in the class. So there were a lot of times that
What do you mean by loudest voice? You mean literally, physically loudest?
literally, I would
Okay.
be the last person to say something, and then I would always get in trouble. And there weren't enough people to
Hide behind.
yeah.
I'm sure that built though some legitimate character. Like there had to be some good application for that. There's got to be some kind of takeaway.
Yeah, there has to
right?
be some take.
Or did you just say, "Yeah, I got in trouble a lot"? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I kind of just did get in trouble a lot, but I kind of learned be a little bit more tactful. But yeah, it was really good. Learning a lot, and it's been very helpful. Past and what
Nothing. Keep going.
afterwards, especially all of the
The picture just sent to our recording channel was just
It's a guy in the chair trying to derail the podcast.
horrific.
Again. Nothing new.
But yeah, no, it was very good experience. I wish that more people would have that kind of experience.
Yeah.
Not, I don't know.
Well, I think I can speak to. I mean, you said earlier. It's in some ways. I think you said this is what you said, but it's hard to say how good it is based off of what we've missed because we weren't in the other situation.
never
But
experienced
two of our
public
siblings who were in the school from like first grade or kindergarten up until this year, which one of them is going to be in 8th grade this year. The other one's going to be, what, 6th grade?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure 6th grade. But they had to take some time away from it, for money reasons and other stuff. But like they had to go to a public school, and hearing their experience, they've seen both. They've seen the good and the bad. And our parents went out of the way, knowing that they had to go to a public school for part of the year, to send them to what they consider to be the best possible options. But man, for being the best possible option, they're still terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to just like condemn people that send their kids to public school in any way, but like,
But I have no problem condemning the public school system.
yeah, I mean, and these are supposedly the golden examples of it in our area. And, man, it's partially such a result of like what has become so corrupt and is being pressed upon children culturally, and as part of like what the government is pushing on children nowadays too, what they're trying to make them become.
It's pretty heartbreaking to have your younger siblings come by and be like, but just like be, distraught and super upset about the things they're going through. And then just being there like, man, I didn't have to go through that.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
I mean, they're going back this year.
Yes.
So it's good. But like, yeah, I mean, Jenna, our youngest sibling, dealt with like being condemned by the faculty because she was struggling with referring to her friend who for most of the year, her friend was saying, my name is Samantha, blah, 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 blah. And then towards the end of the year was saying, call me Sam because I'm transgender. And then Jenna was condemned by faculty for accidentally calling them Sam or saying she, but not just, and then lost friends because of it. Yeah. And not just because
child.
I mean, she was in 5th grade, right?
Yeah.
Not just the ridiculousness of it. If the girl had said, hey, you're not referring to me as a boy, not just from that girl, but like the faculty as well stepping in and condemning Jenna for it, which is like, come on.
Pretty lame, kind of
We
a
need more
knucklehead
prayer in
situation.
schools.
Yeah. But just stuff like that. I mean, but you don't, I guess one important thing about a school like that is that they have values and they stand by them.
Yeah.
They are not blown around like the wind because they actually stand by values, and their values are based in something that we know to be true, which is, objective truth. And that is the Bible, God's word.
I did get, because cross-dressing was not allowed.
Okay.
But I did
makes
get
sense.
kilts to be approved.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
this is what you're stating is your most fundamental achievement while being there.
My fundamental achievement was
Because of
talking
Levi.
to the vice principal
It's,
and getting
don't let
kilts
it-
approved.
go to your head too much because very quickly undone.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But no, I think that we have at least seen this experience of somebody, of children who had a really, really good education opportunity. This place where the Bible is the number one priority, and their relationship with Christ is the number one priority. And then being put into the public school system, these golden examples supposedly in our area of the really good schools, and they were just, the way that schools handle things like bullying, it's totally different. When you deal with bullying, which is this, as a human as a sinful human being, that kind of situation is looked at entirely differently at a private school than it is at a public school. And poor Joel, like our little brother, opportunities he had to stand up for kids who were being bullied in really horrible ways, and then getting entirely ostracized by the entire class, including the school, including the kid who he stood up for, and then being punished for it by the teacher, which would never happen.
No.
at the school we went to. So yeah, I guess I don't know how much we really talked about, I guess, about specificity, about these things. But it is just better because when you're in an environment where the truth matters and the truth is believed to be the word of God, then there aren't all these whimsical things that come through and blow around what your truth versus my truth is, or what the truth is. There's consistency, and the consistency is based in biblical values.
Even if everything we find and our experiences are totally anecdotal, I mean, take it from 3 reliable anecdotal sources that it's definitely worth trying if you can to send your children to a good Christian school.
If even agreed upon by like secular people that what you said earlier, fundamental time or whatever, or formative years, like 1st through 12th grade are formative years in people's lives, and you are a believer and you're raising children, is it not important then? I mean, if it's a possibility, I understand for some people it might not even be a possibility. But I mean, I know for our family, it certainly wasn't always, but people help. But I mean, no, I mean, if you are a believer and you're sending your kids to school and that is an option, I mean, everybody believes these are formative years because they are.
Yeah.
Should those things not be formed by biblical truth?
We didn't even touch on, we could all talk about at length, probably the same we have about but I mean, let it not go without being said, the relationship you have with the other families there.
Yeah.
Like helping out.
Yeah.
We received direct help from like immediate help.
And have had
in all
opportunities
sorts of-
to have direct help to other people.
Yeah. The families, when you're going to a place that cares, the families care about each other. And that's huge.
Part of the reason they care is because it's a group of believers.
Yeah. It's a whole different kind of fellowship of people going together that is just tremendous.
Yeah, and then they're training children to know how to respond to the world and how to live in the world, but not be of the world, right? And it's an incredible experience that I would encourage anybody that's considering it to do.
I learned how to make pants.
And there's that.
Yeah.
I learned how to make a pillowcase.
You didn't do pants?
Well, we did pants too, but you already said that.
Fleece pants.
Cool. Well, I guess, is there anything else that we wanted to make sure we mentioned before that? Or if not, we're over an hour.
If your kids are going to
I
a
learned
public
how to
school,
read.
make sure you're every single day sitting down with them.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Don't let that public school chisel slowly start to sow seeds of chaos and disarray into their fragile.
I mean, we saw, like
little
we were
minds.
saying earlier, we saw that with our siblings,
Yeah.
and it did require, after realizing this, it did require sitting down with them regularly, both as their brothers, but I mean, our dad had to do this regularly with them and talk to them about the lies they had been told.
Yeah.
And helping them through understanding that that's what they were because they were so confused, and then building them back up. We talked about this in a previous episode, right? When you're in an environment that is just so depraved, like we talked about work environments, it's important to go to places that refill your cup, right? Where you can be refilled by the Spirit. And I think if you do have kids if you are a believer, right, and you do have kids that are going to a public school, man, it's got to be real important to sit them down and refill that cup.
There's still an element of
truth.
homeschooling that is necessary.
Yeah.
I think.
Just
And
'cause they're at home
especially
doesn't mean
with the
they're not
more
at
and
school
more
anymore.
that keeps coming out in like media. And
So much of what we're learning about is actually going on, that people have been saying is going on in public schools, and then public schools are flat out lying, saying that's not going on, and we have evidence that it is. Some of this horrible depravity that is being taught to children is truth.
We had to teach Christian math to Joel and Jenna.
Yeah, Christian math. No, but I mean specifically stuff like sexual stuff.
Yes.
That is
sex, gender.
all of it. And all of it is steeped in sexuality. So much of what they're making their firm, like, number one priority is like, hey, how can we convince fourth graders or, second graders that all that's important in the rest of their life, especially right now, is their sexuality?
Yeah.
I don't care if it isn't about all of the ridiculousness of sexuality that the world believes, but even just to make sexuality so important at that age is so stupid.
No, I mean, there's literally Levi's brothers not being able to read in 3rd grade, and they're going, "Yeah, but are you really a boy? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can't even spell girl."
Do you want to permanently alter your body, or do you want to learn how to read?
Read?
Well, we're going to
Wrong
force you
answer.
to not learn how. Yeah. If you say reading, we're going to change your mind. Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. So, like, we've talked about this in other episodes, and like you brought up, I think that's really important in situations like that. Make sure sitting down with kids and refilling that cup with truth, because they get a lot of lies. But, all right,
Closing statements, Levi. Brief and beautiful,
just like you.
just like you.
Be active in your children's education.
Yeah, that's important.
Jerry,
Yeah.
I thought I just said mine.
Yeah.
there we go.
I don't want to reiterate it because I reiterated it again.
Yeah. Hey,
right.
maybe even when
Hey.
they're going to a private Christian school, maybe there's always a little element of homeschooling you should be doing with your kids.
Yeah, still sit
How
down.
about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
Did Levi ever, or did your brother ever learn how to read?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's in college right now, working on some degree. Like, I don't know
that
which.
I know what- I'm pretty
sure I know what degree he's
Well,
getting.
he finished one, and
Yeah.
I don't know what he's working on now.
Oh,
He's
maybe I
working
don't.
on solidifying his position as a physical therapist.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And I believe the
Sounds great.
schooling element is over. The rest of it is
Well, no,
practicum.
there's still schooling that he has to do to like get his doctorate and everything.
yes, for that.
because he's still going.
Further schooling that can be
Through
done.
all
without- Yeah.
And that's the episode.
All right, everybody.
Levi?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, and thank you for listening.
We love you very much.
We love you very much.
I love you.
And God loves you very much. And
More than we possibly could.
That's
yeah,
true.
that is very true.
Especially Levi.
Roll that outro.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
That's a good one.